Jeff Wittek fans are questioning Tana Mongeau's loyalty after Tana was caught liking a photo of Vlog Squad member Zayn, who is close friends with David Dobrik. As you all know, Jeff Wittek has expressed how he doesn't want his friends associating with those who associate with David Dobrik, though Jeff himself has been associating with Vlog Squad members too. So this might not be as big of news as some people seem to think. However, it is kind of confusing coming from Tana, who has previously denounced all Vlog Squad members, stating before that it was easy for her to cut them off because they weren't good people and because of how they associated with David.
And I love him and will continue to show up every single day no matter what.
Yeah.
But will I cut off someone who was like loosely affiliated with something that happened in his
I understand
life?
what you're saying.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Remember during her time on the Logan Paul podcast, Tana listened to Mike talk about how he was going to remain friends with friends of David's and how he wasn't going to cut them off. Tana at the time said she understood, but made it clear that it was easier for her to cut them off because she wasn't close to any of them, out of respect for Jeff.
Yeah, and if you have this bond with Corinna, I guess, that it was easier for me to kind of walk away from all of the Dobrik's. I was going to say Dobrik's pizza servers. I'm such a...
Yeah, like I'm not...
Tana talked about how easy it was for her to walk away from the Vlog Squad because they weren't really her friends, and even dragged them by calling them Dobrik pizza servers, poking fun at David Dobrik's pizza place.
Like,
but
I'm
like,
not...
no, but like, because I was never
the Dobrik's
close with
pizza
them.
server.
Yeah.
Tana said that it was so easy for her to detach herself from the Vlog Squad because she wasn't ever close to any of them, and she did always seem to be distant with these people. She frequently took jabs at them, even before the David Dobrik fallout. However, as you can see now, she seemingly is friendly with at least one of them, Zayn.
I'm such I didn't mean that.
Well, now he's rolling back on some of it too because
I know him. Yeah.
He's talking to Todd.
I know.
And in this same episode, Mike defended the fact that he was continuing to talk to Vlog Squad members because Jeff himself was, which is interesting since Tana made it a point to say how she wasn't, and how she essentially didn't feel the need to because they weren't close, and she didn't care about them.
So it's like, now imagine I cut someone off and then you go become friends with them again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I 100%. Yeah, I'm honestly being a little facetious and kind of dramatic here, but I mean, yeah, I guess it was easier for me.
But was it easy for her if she's still associating with Zayn? And if she is still associating with Zayn, why did she even point out the difference between her and Mike? She could have said she understood how he felt because she also was in contact or was friendly with a Vlog Squad member, yet she acted like she was far detached from them and didn't like any of them. Keep in mind this podcast was only 1 month ago, so 1 month later, she's associating with a Vlog Squad member. Now don't get me wrong here. Tana can associate with whoever she wants to, but she shouldn't preach about how she doesn't and doesn't feel the need to, as if she's Jeff's most loyal confidant, only to turn around and do the same thing that Jeff got upset at Mike for doing. But Tana has always been controversial for being pretty fake. She says things and then never follows through with them. In fact, in the beginning of her friendship with Jeff, Tana was still associating with the Vlog Squad members, and Jeff had called her out for it. Tana had made it seem like it wasn't a big deal at the time, and she only saw them in passing, but she associated with them and was playing both sides of the fence until Jeff called her out. So it seems it wasn't so easy for her to cut them off in the beginning either. It was only after Jeff got on her case that Tana changed her tune. But it looks like her tune is changing back if she's open to liking their posts publicly again. This might seem like a small gesture, but anyone who knows Jeff would know this is the kind of thing he takes issue with, because a like is a cosign, so she's essentially supporting a quote-unquote op. One could argue that if Jeff is friends with Vlog Squad members, then Tana can be too, and that's true. But the point here is that she knew he was friends with some of them a month ago and still stood firm in her stance that she didn't like any of them and didn't care to be friends with them. So, This move here is interesting, and it'll be even more interesting to see if Jeff calls her out for it. Because Jeff isn't shy when it comes to call-outs.
It is one of those situations where you can't be best friends with Jeff and feel right about being close friends with David.
Yeah.
Or be best friends with David, and I guess his friends, they don't want to, it's kind of...
Notice that in this interview from a couple of years ago, Tana said that it wouldn't feel right to be friends with David or David's friends if she's Jeff's best friend, because it would feel essentially disrespectful to him. Yet now here in 2025, she's cool with publicly supporting a Vlog Squad member with a like. Again, this might not seem like a big deal, but it's a pretty big deal for a woman who has been preaching against this entire group for years to suddenly now be cool with publicly supporting them or being friendly with them, even in the smallest of regards. Because what might look small to us is going to look huge to Jeff. Some fans are calling out Tana's change of tune, considering how hard she preached against this kind of behavior before, while some are justifying it by saying that Jeff likely won't care. But considering what we've seen from Jeff over the years, I'd say he's likely to care more than he wouldn't. Remember, this is the same guy who has called out every single person in his life for even associating with any of these people even one time, and again has called out Tana herself for this very thing when she first did it. In fact, it was 2 years ago, and Jeff made an entire podcast about it, citing it as their first real fight. That's how upset he was over her associating with David and his crew at the time.
I happened to get dragged into a photo that you didn't like, that people were tweeting us.
Tana, at the time, had gone to an event where she took a photo with David, which was a huge deal to Jeff, who didn't like it.
The reason that I even have an issue, don't go there, that's because he was doing that to me with my old friends. He said, you can't hang out with him because if you hang out with him publicly, then you make me look bad.
Jeff referred to David as the op and didn't like that Tana went and associated not only with David, but with David's friends, because these were the same people that Jeff felt had turned their backs on him.
So by him getting you to go there and you hang out with him...
Well, he never got me to go there.
He got a photo of you, and that's all he wanted.
Tana at this time apologized, but argued that she didn't fall into any David trap. She even then went on to say that she was at the event and spoke to all of David's friends and spent the entire time telling them how much she loved Jeff, which just comes off as fake, as a way to say, yeah, I hung out with them, but I talked about you the entire time, which isn't the consolation prize that she thinks it is. If you associate with someone your friend isn't cool with, but you talk about your friend the entire time, that doesn't make it any better.
I had 38 conversations at that event about you, about our podcast, about how much I love you. Do you know I spent probably 20 minutes with each person, in his group, explaining to them the relationship I have with you and how much I love you.
Tana has this strange ability to do something someone doesn't like, and then reason it away by complimenting them in some way. So in this case, she quote-unquote betrayed Jeff by associating with people she knew he didn't want her to. But she defends it by stating that she did associate with them, but spoke about him the entire time, as if that negates the original action of warming up to those he feels betrayed by. She's always done this with everyone. She's always played both sides, and has always found a way to excuse it. So I'm sure she'll do the same thing here. Again, Tana can associate with whoever she wants, but to act as if she doesn't, and is higher than the friends of Jeff's, who do just to then do the same thing, is certainly questionable behavior.